Roman myths. City of Dreams and Adventures in the Underworld. By Geraldine Mccaughrean. Illustrated by Tony Ross. City of Dreams. Aeneas dreamed that a woman's voice was telling him to wake up, and he woke to the sound of buildings falling. There was fire too, a throaty roar like a wild beast eating up Troy. Aeneas knew instantly that the Greeks were inside the city. After 10 years of fruitless siege, they had finally found a way in. Opening the door onto the night, he found the streets bright as day with fire, Greek warriors meting out death to every Trojan man, woman and child. He had to get his family away. Running through the smoke-filled rooms, he caught his young son Lulus by the hand, heaved his old father onto his back, and ran for the harbor, shouting for his household and servants to follow. Not until he reached the waterfront did he realize that his wife was missing, and start back to find her. He glimpsed her, too, paler than pale, waving to him from an upper window, beyond a curtain of fire. "I am dead," Aeneas called her lovely ghost. "Another bride is waiting for you, I will send her to wait for you on the river bank." Then she was gone. A tower crashed to the ground. The whole city of Troy shivered and sobbed, and the doors of burning buildings slammed like a dozen drumbeats, out of time. Snatching up a burning balk of timber, Aeneas carried it back to the ship, a piece of Troy burning. It seemed important. Standing at the mast of his ship, his servants grunting and straining at the oars, Aeneas peered astern through the pall of smoke. It seemed to him that figures larger than mere men were beating down the high, white walls of Troy, giant men and women cloaked in light were crazing the palisades with mallets of gold, leaning their shoulders against her towers, breathing fire over the city of his birth. "What do you see, son?" asked his father, eyes too old for visions. "The gods themselves," breathed Aeneas, siding with the Greeks to destroy us. Anchises nodded his grizzled head. Yes. Your mother always said it was Troy's destiny to fall." "My mother?" But Anchises would say no more. He never had told, nor ever could tell Aeneas the identity of his mother. Had he not sworn on his life to keep it secret? Aeneas got away, his destiny demanded it. He sailed to Crete, thinking it was as good a home as any, for a man made homeless. But once landed and asleep on the shores of Crete, he dreamed the most extraordinary dream of his life. He dreamed that he stood in his house once more, surrounded by the statues of his household gods. "Seek out the land of Italy, Aeneas," their stone mouths seemed to be saying. "There you shall find an empire greater even than Greece or Troy, its feet standing in Africa, its hands reaching into the lands of snow. The great, straight highways of the world shall be its arteries. One day, a city greater than Troy shall sit on 7 hills, and the smoke from its altars rise up to heaven. Such is the will of the gods." Aeneas woke, and lay awake till morning, watching the sparks from the burning Trojan brand spiral upwards towards the stars. Then, at first light, he told his family and servants to reboard the ship. Again he asked Anchises, "Who was my mother? Did she die when I was born? Why don't I remember her? Why have I never seen her? Why won't you tell me?" But the old man only put a finger to his lips. As Aeneas carried his father aboard, Anchises hung like a sick sheep around a shepherd's shoulders. Every day he was growing weaker. Waiting home from Troy, the gods brushed the ashes and stone dust from their robes and watched the little ships coming and going over the surface of the sea like the pieces of a board game. "I see a Trojan left alive," said Juno. "Does he think he can escape the fate ordained for Troy and all its princes?" And she went to the keeper of the winds and borrowed his leather sack. Loosing its cords, she freed them all, the north and south, the east and west winds to roll up the ocean and shake it like a rug. Aeneas's ship was beaten by blue clods of water large as hills. Shoals of fish, a debris of dolphins and octopuses and turtles rained down on the rowers, while wrecks from the seabed came spinning by. Lulus clung to his father in terror. "Hush, child, hush," said Aeneas. "I was born to die a dry death." Even so, the sea was pouring in over the stern, filling the hull, driving the whole vessel under. Just then, Neptune, god of the sea, woken by the huge upheaval in his bed, thrust his bleary head out of the water to find waterspouts gumming together sea and sky, and everywhere whirlpools dimpling the sea. "Cease! Be still! Who has been meddling in my domain?" Then he smooth-flapped the sea with his great green hands. Seeing Aeneas's ship foundering, he raised it to the surface once again, the water gushing out of its bilges, the little Trojan flame still glimmering at its masthead. "While the seas are mine, only I shall sink ships," the god declared, catching the winds like flies between his palms. The storm had driven them so far off course that they had no idea where they were. But, sighting land, Aeneas and his crew pulled for the shore, where they offered up thanks to the gods for sparing them. Old Anchises, though, was chilled to the bone. Though the light of the campfire glimmered in his eyes, it had no power to warm him. "Live a little longer, father," begged Aeneas. "If the gods are willing, you and I will reach Italy and begin a new life." Anchises only smiled sadly. "Your mother will stay by you. She will see you safely to your destiny. My time is over." "My mother? What do you mean?" said Aeneas. Anchises shut his eyes. "I don't doubt she loves you as much as I do. Is she not love itself, after all? Venus. The goddess Venus." And having broken his promise, Anchises breathed out his last breath, and died, leaving his son, weeping and amazed, on the shores of Libya, beneath the walls of Carthage. Adventures in the Underworld. The son of Venus.